What is up, everybody here at Nerd Entertainment Network? I am Sinister Alec Miller, and thank you, Nerd Entertainment Network, for letting me start this show. I've been really excited about this show. I brought it to Hunter and he loved it. So we decided to go with it. And without further ado, let me introduce my guest host, the Hitman himself, Hunter Chambless. What is up, man? How you doing?
How's it going, brother? Yeah. You brought me this idea. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, you and me are both gonna be running this show. Of course, this is your show, but I'll be your co-host, your co-pilot, whatever you need me to be. Tonight,
Absolutely.
though, we begin with a huge movie.
That's right. So before we get to the movie, the premise of the show basically is I'm going to take a movie. Me and Henry are going to take a movie each week. No, there's not really much to us picking a movie. We will do certain things as we go, but we're going to pick a movie. We're going to watch it. We're going to come here this every week. We're going to talk about the movie, and at the end of it, we are going to basically decide did Rotten Tomatoes overrate, underrate, or properly rate the film that we are talking about that week. And this week, we decided to go with a classic that neither of us had seen. We were both in the geek divisions of most of these leagues, and we have not seen this film. And why not knock it out in the first week? And that is Superman, the movie from 1978. I'm going to go ahead and start basically the movie starring Christopher Reeves. You have Marlon Brando, Margot Kidder,
Mm-hmm.
Gene Hackman. Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, you have a little cameo from Terrence Stamp in the beginning, which is always
Azad, yep.
that's always great. I love Terrence Stamp.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Richard Donner, and this movie is the typical Superman story. You know, like Superman. We all know the story, but this is where it originated in terms of the unfilm. And I'm gonna go ahead and start by saying what my original experience with Superman is. So my very first experience with Superman was surprisingly the Smallville show. That was my
Nice.
introduction to Superman. I had being a kid and being a teenager, you know who Superman is, but I never really cared much for him until I watched the Smallville show. So, don't necessarily love Tom Welling as Superman, but love Erica Durance as Lois Lane. And Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor. Fantastic.
Perfect, Lex.
Yes. So that's my first experience. What is your first experience with Superman?
So I've always been a comic book fan. My father has been collecting comics for a long time, so I've always known the name Superman. I've always known the origin story. I've read the first comic, the Actions comic #1. So I've kind of grew up with Superman. I've always been more of a Batman fan because I think Batman is more of a more interesting character. But Superman is the one that started it all, man. Without Superman, you wouldn't have DC. He is
Absolutely.
DC's, golden goose. And the fact that they waited this long to make a feature film movie, I mean, this came out in 1978. The fact that you've had like serial shows, you've had radio shows, but the fact that they waited this long to do a proper movie was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, it's crazy how long it did take to make the. But at the same time, I believe before this you did have the series. I don't know much of it. I didn't even look it up, but I know that there was the original series, played by I believe Christopher Reeves' dad.
I believe so. Yes. Yes.
I don't remember his name. I can look that up in a minute. But yeah, so you had that, but this is the first move to film. And in 1978, for how old this movie is, it looks great. Like I really like the aesthetics and the feel of the movie. I thought it didn't. Obviously, it's gonna have its moments where it doesn't necessarily.
Where you can clearly see the green screen in some scenes where he's flying.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it never really took me out of the movie.
No.
But had to tell, and I think it is because of the actors and and the performances from everyone really in this movie. Even for Marlon Brando, who so famously in this performance, it's like Marlon Brando mailing in a performance is still better than what like
most people. Yeah.
So even then, that was great. But go ahead and getting into the film. So the film takes place. It starts off on Krypton, right? So it starts off on Krypton. This is where it kind of got hard for me to get into the film right off the bat because I'm immediately taken back to that Man of Steel scene. The Man of Steel, Krypton looks so like it looks great, yeah. Whereas this one, it didn't necessarily pop, but I don't think it was necessarily supposed to. That Krypton scene in Man of Steel is what, about like 30 minutes of the film, maybe a little more.
No, I think about 20 minutes. I think it's
20 minutes.
It's kind of a shorter scene, yeah.
Yeah, so I understand, but that was a little hard for me to get into. The best part of it was Terrence Stamp, as we mentioned before.
Amazing.
Fun fact, was actually the voice of Jor-El in Smallville.
Really?
So yeah, he's been in the Superman lore for a very long time.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that.
I love Terrence Stamp, and his performance here, just a little snippet as Zod, was fantastic. Makes me want to watch Superman 2.
Which, we're definitely going to have to review Superman 2.
Definitely. But what did you think of the opening scene?
I actually really love the opening scene, and to me, it didn't take away anything because I can. Man of Steel, it's its own thing, so I don't connect this to anything. But if anything, it brought me more into the story because I love Brando as Jor-El. Seeing kind of the fall of Krypton was really cool because it gave you a very simple opening that I think Man of Steel kind of missed. I love Man of Steel, and that's a movie that we're definitely gonna have to review one day because I wholeheartedly disagree with the critics on that one. But I feel like in Man of Steel there was a lot going on in the opening scene, and it took away. While this one was very simple and kind of brought me into the characters of the story.
100%. 100%. I get you there. I always say whenever you can't when you can't put something out of your mind, it's all on you as a viewer. That's the only thing. But that's the only thing that I didn't necessarily like about this movie. But everything else I enjoyed so much. They got with Clark as a kid, it went fast and furious. They didn't really rest on anything, but you got those little moments with Jonathan Kent with his dad. You had the little moment with Lana Lanning being shown very briefly.
Yeah.
But that moment with his dad, man, it sucks. It still hurts, and I think that's why people had such a problem with Kevin Costner's death in Men of Steel, was because I 100% felt that no matter how powerful Superman was, that's the one thing he couldn't stop was that heart attack, and you feel it in this scene. What about you, man?
But it's also they're two sides of the same coin because one was going for what Superman couldn't stop, the other one was going for something that Superman could stop, but he was honoring his father's last wish to not reveal himself. So they both work for me. I'm not going to pick which one. I do love the one that the line that actually hit me the most was, I think he was at the funeral right after this scene where he's like, with all these powers, and I couldn't stop it.
Yep, and that's where I felt it, and that's where I came like, okay, like that's where I get it. And I wasn't bringing up the Man of Steel because I enjoyed the Man of Steel scene as well. It's because his dad told him, that you have a person that's not this. So I okay with that too. But I was just saying I understood completely. It was like why people compared it to this scene because man, it's tough for sure. So after that, you jumped into him going to the Fortress of Solitude and finding out about himself, finding out about his dad, and Krypton. I was okay with them not showing him learning his powers because I didn't need that in this film. I'm really cool with jumping right into the where he spent so much time. And I want to say this is about like 30, 40 minutes now before it started really kicking in. You got all that stuff, so why not jump right into it? And you jump right into him flying with the suit on, really cool, and it goes right into appearing at Daily Planet.
Which I will say this on the Daily Planet thing. I never truly appreciated what people were saying about how good Christopher Reeves is as Superman, because the way he plays as Clark Kent is incredible. Completely opposite of Superman. He's hunched as Clark Kent. He's kind of quiet and he's kind of nerdy. He's got his glasses on. As Superman, his posture's up. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go, and you can clearly tell which one is which.
Absolutely, and that's why I always say, "Oh, Lois Lane." They make Lois Lane a dumb character because she doesn't realize that Clark is Superman. It's not because she doesn't want to, or it's not because she's not smart enough. It's because it's the ideal of what Superman is, and the fact that Christopher Reeves plays the character of Clark Kent. That's the thing is people realize Clark Kent is not, in my opinion, Clark Kent's not his secret identity. Superman's not Clark's secret identity. Clark Kent is Superman's
secret identity.
Absolutely. So I completely don't. If someone brings that up about Lois Lane, I disregard that like that.
And also, Lois Lane actually brings it up in the movie. At the very end of the movie, she's like, "Oh yeah, Clark's not here when Superman is here," and she starts thinking about it. Yep. She's like, "No, that's just me going off on another story again," which is something that a reporter would think about.
I agree, and Christopher is playing as Clark Kent. That's why I'm not going to choose, but Christopher Reeves has just jumped into the pantheon of Superman actors. Of actors who played Superman / Clark Kent / Kal-El, because he's probably the best that I've seen play the Clark Kent Superman aspect. Having to with Batman, you have to say who's a better Bruce Wayne, who's a better Batman. I think Christopher Reeves might be in my top 3 right now of guys who play Superman / Clark Kent.
See, this is where I'm probably gonna do the who plays Bruce and who plays Batman better. I think Henry Cavill plays a better Superman, but I think Christopher Reeves plays the perfect Clark Kent.
I might be with you there.
Just because I believe Henry Cavill could be Superman. I don't really believe Christopher Reeves, just because of the size comparison, more physical appearance. Like he still works, but to me, he plays the perfect geek Clark Kent. While I think Henry Cavill plays the better Superman while in the suit.
Oh yeah, I can get that. I can totally get behind that for sure. So jump ahead. We get our first glimpse at Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
And how great! He's so over the top, but
he's great.
It works without fail. Like him yelling, "Mr. Smoker!" Like you get
one of my favorite Lex lines. It's him and Otis while he's sitting on the bookcase, and he's like, "N." And he goes, "Oh, you want M?" And he pulls her out. And he goes, "No, N for Nibu."
I love it. That was fantastic. Yeah, I think Gene Hackman might steal every scene he's in.
He's
That's why
so
when we get to our
good.
next segment, I'm gonna have a hard time because I have two in my head. But yeah, he's so great. You don't really get much from Miss Taskmaster. She's kind of the pivotal kind of Deus Ex Machina at the very end.
Yeah.
With Superman, which is fine, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But the comedy between him and Otis, he legit seems insane, but an evil genius.
Yep.
Especially at the end, like the plan is so his evil plan is so like complicated.
It's
But
so 1970s.
yes, literally, he's gonna buy up all this not like this land right outside of California, so that he can cause the California tectonic plate to break up.
Shit.
Yes, it's 100% a
Oh,
Bond villain style plan where it's just overly
yes, it is.
being overcomplicated. But you're in it from the very beginning to the very end. In my opinion, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
of course Lex would come up with a crazy idea like
Of
that.
course he would, dude. It's always weird to me that Lex had hair at one point. He has it in the comics. It's so weird because I'm so
does.
used to seeing him bald. I'm so used to seeing Lex bald.
Yeah, that's why it went in Smallville where they have he loses his hair when Lex loses his hair when he's a kid after
Yeah.
comes down. That's the way he couldn't explain how or why he loses his hair when Clark lands, but hey, who cares? But yeah, with seeing you see Jesse Eisenberg have hair. Now Gene Hackman have his wig, but the little
The wig part's hilarious, by the way. He has
yeah.
multiple wigs.
Yes, I love it. But yeah, so you get the introduction of Lex Luthor, and then the first event happens where Superman has to jump into action.
Oh, this is a great scene.
Absolutely, this is probably maybe my second favorite scene of the movie. I'll get to my favorite one when we get there, but definitely.
Hey, JB3.
Thank you, JB3, for joining us.
Yes. Bald is cool.
Bald is in fact cool. Yeah, so you had the first scene where Clark / Superman has to jump into action, and it is a crazy scene. Like it's crazy. It's crazy in terms of what they could do at the time, man. Like the fact that you had the helicopter get caught by the wire, and taken down, and the effects are all great. I know some of it had to be practical, but there are some effects there, yeah. And when Superman he finally goes in. I love the little nod when he went to the phone, and it's a payphone.
Yeah, I do too. Yep.
It's such a nice little nod to the Superman trope. And then he finds a revolving door, goes in that, changes like little fast jump cut, nothing too crazy. And he finally makes his save. He makes the save where he picks up Margot Kidder / Lois Lane.
Yep.
And grabs the helicopter with one hand.
And then has her. And the line she says of where he's like, I got you. And she goes, you got me. Who has you?
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very logical point.
Yes, and that's the thing about Lois Lane. She's logical. She's in that reporter mode at all times, even when she's about to die or she almost died. She was like, wait, hold on, who are you? And finally he's revealed himself to the world. I'll talk about this scene later, so I'm going to skip over it. But into the kind of climax of the film, Lex Luthor's doing these things. The only thing I did have an issue with, which I mean is explained by his genius, I guess, but how fast he was able to come up with kryptonite.
Yeah,
that was odd. That was my.
But I do love the fact that they showed how smart Lex is by putting it in a lead container.
Yes, absolutely, and basically made it into a necklace too.
Yep.
To put around his neck. So, but yeah, that was the only thing kind of pulled me out really in the movie. That and the ending, and we'll get to that very soon.
Oh, I have a lot of words for the ending.
Me too. So yeah, he does the plan. He also I like they show the genius of Lex again with the signal, the little dog whistle and putting his message at that frequency, knowing that only Superman.
That only Superman would hear it.
Yeah, so that was a nice little nod to how smart he is. And the plan is put out there. He has to stop. First, he goes to Lex, gets taken down with the necklace, thrown in the water. You are shown Lex's straight up just disregard for human life.
He just kicks Superman down in the lake.
Yeah, not even that though. I was talking about the Miss Tessmacher says my mom's in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Like, it sucks.
Good point.
Yeah, so that's where you get the turn for Miss Tessmacher. She helps out Superman. I mean, obviously, in this time, the kiss doesn't necessarily work as much anymore. Like basically putting her like, oh, she has to kiss him just this once, which, whatever, it didn't do anything. It didn't take me out, but it also didn't add to the film.
Yeah, it was just okay.
Yeah, but Superman jumps. He flies. He's able to grab one of the missiles and take it into space. It's no more. There is one that causes the California to break apart, and the scene where he's underneath have that basically putting the tectonic plate back together. But hey, he's he's not supposed to do things that are realistic. He's supposed to do crazy things, and that's what he did. But you get through that you get the death of Lois Lane. In the very first movie, you get the death of Lois Lane. I will say the scream is what was fantastic.
It was great
that he does. I would put it up there with the scream that Henry Cavill does when he snaps Zod's neck. I will put it up there with. What followed did not vibe with me though.
Me neither. I fucking hate.
Yeah. The turning of the Earth. First of all, not real. Not possible. If that happened, the geologic effects of the.
But also, that's not what I'm mad about. That it's Superman. I mean, you got to take a little bit of disbelief away from it.
I get it. That was like my biggest thing was the turning of the worlds, because like geologically would destroy the world. The Earth would go into a crazy ice age most likely. But that was the big thing too. Go ahead and you give your issue with the ending.
My biggest issue is it feels so much like a cop out. They couldn't pull the trigger to kill Lois Lane, and I don't want to see a main character die or anything, but if you're going to do it, go all the way with it. Have that be the lasting effect of why Superman has to continue saving people, because he chose the people over someone he loves. Mm-hmm. But now, when he turns back time, all of those people still die. Yeah. But Lois is the only one that's saved. So not only does it feel like a cop-out, but Superman looks like a complete dick, because he just let hundreds of people die just to save one person.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. It defeats. They try to explain it, or they try to like put in like, hey, we're not looking over this. Voiceover of Jor-El and his dad, but in my opinion, right, Superman would listen to his dad and his and Jor-El, because just like you said, the live many should outweigh the lives of the few or the one.
The one.
Yeah, the one, and I 100% agree. I think that's why I want Superman 2, because I'm wondering, because Jor-El says that there are going to be basically there will be consequences for this, and there is a kind of similar scene, and I keep going just because it's my main source of Superman. I'll go back to Smallville. There is actually a scene, an episode where he does something. He tells Lana who he is, because Lana's starting to get in deep with Lex. He tells Lana. Lana accepts him. She's basically going to leave, and Lex does some crazy stuff and chases her. She gets hit by a car. She dies. And Superman. I forgot how. I want to say. I think he went and asked. He went to the fortress and he asked his dad if he would turn back time, and he told him, you are not ready for the effects of what this will happen, but you'll get your chance. Go ahead, change it. And he basically changes it. He doesn't tell Donna who he is. She doesn't leave and she doesn't die. But that triggers the heart attack that his dad has. And his dad in the show. So they kind of did that, but they did it in a little bit better scene where you get the consequence of what he did. So I'm curious if in Superman 2, and no spoilers, if anybody's in the chat has seen Superman 2, please don't spoil us. We do want to eventually get to the film. If that is addressed, I could look on that in terms of your point. I could look at it a little differently, but I'm right there with you. I think it kind of hurts the character of Superman. Just like when people complained about Man of Steel, him killing all those, the
killing Zod
guard for destruction.
And
or killing Zod too.
On that point, I would say the Man of Steel one was done better because
I agree.
He was put in a position where it's either you kill me or I kill this family, and then I'm not going to stop with this family. He says, I'm not going to stop with this family. It's going to be family after family after family. I'm not going to stop unless you kill me. And when he kills them, he feels the effect immediately. He's crushed by it.
And that's why I'll always defend that scene to my death. I would defend that scene because I think that scene, just like we said, where it should be the needs of the many
outweigh the needs of the
one. Mm-hmm. They did it. And Man of Steel, they did it opposite. It was one life versus all life on Earth, and he chose to save on Earth. And you're right. Man of Steel did it better. I agree, and I'm sure we'll get to that. We might have to have a guest on for that one, especially because we are showing our love for the film. But, we'll be pretty biased. We're kind of so, any people when we get to Man of Steel, if you do not like Man of Steel, or if you're kind of meh on Man of Steel, hit us up so we can have you on the show because we're kind of biased.
yeah, we are. But I'm not gonna say this ending ruined the movie for me because I love the movie. Nope. It was just it's the same effect I feel when they killed Coulson or they kill pretty much any member of the MCU because they're coming back. It has no effect on me anymore because, oh great, Loki died. Nope, he's back. It doesn't matter. You have no stakes.
Yeah, any member not named Pietro because he's the one that stayed there.
Yeah, and it's literally like now you have no stakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like there's nothing worth fighting for.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a fan of the show Supernatural. It's the exact they've kind of done that into the ground multiple times. They're always dying back to life. So it does get kind of hard to feel the feels in those middle seasons. Yeah, get the feels, especially in those middle seasons, around like seasons like 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Because I think after a point they stop doing it all together and stop killing them. But we'll go ahead and go to the next segment if you want to pull it up for me, man.
MVP character.
Yes, MVP character. For those who don't know, I am a big sports fan, so I think of things in sports context. And MVP character is basically going to be your character who stood out, who stood above the rest. And I'll go ahead and start with mine. I've been racking my brain. I think I know where you're going to go, so I'll go differently. I'm going to say Margot Kidder as Lois Lane.
That was who I was going to say.
Oh, is that what you're going to say? Dang it. Well, you can get the other one.
I'll get the other one.
Yeah, Margot Kidder, that scene where she does the interview with Superman and that voiceover that she's doing when she's flying, I love that scene.
That's so good.
But her blatant disregard, you have you get who she is immediately. You have the blatant disregard for Clark, but not because she doesn't like him, but because she's so into her job. All she cares about is reporting. She is a go-getter. She basically says, like, she brings it to Perry White. If he doesn't want it, then she just finds some way to give it to him a different way. But So that for that reason and that scene specifically, which we'll talk about very soon, is Margot Kidder is my MVP character for Superman the movie, 1978. What about you, man?
Awesome. So, yeah, I was actually gonna pick Lois Lane because I do love the fact that she wasn't just a damsel in distress. Like like the scene where Clark and her get robbed at gunpoint, and Clark is
Yeah.
like kind of cowering, and she's the one that kicks the gun away. I love that scene. That's amazing.
Yes, that was great.
Because it shows that she's not just going to be. I mean, yes, she has her damsel in distress moments, of course, but it feels like she was a fighter. She even at the ending scene where she's getting crushed by the rocks in the car, she's always fighting to get out. You feel like she could get out herself. Absolutely. But because you picked her, I gotta go with my boy Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, man. What? Dude, he steals all of the scenes he is in. His charisma control captures the screen. Because he's so in command. He's so in charge. And as he says, he's the smartest person in any room he puts himself in. Not only is he funny, he has great wit, but yes, his plan at the end of the movie is kind of hilarious 70s cheese, but I absolutely love that cheese, man. It's so good. But when he has to get down to business and he wants to turn on the Sinister, pun intended, features, he's got it. He's cruel. He's a dick. He's everything rolled into one that I absolutely love in this movie.
100%, man. He does steal every scene in this movie, and I think you immediately see who the more seasoned actor is when the film, when you're watching the film, and that's not that's what you want from your more veteran actors, is to stand out and to be because think about it, Margot Kidder, I believe before this she had only been at Christmas.
Yeah. She was in Black Christmas.
Yeah, she was.
That's right.
Yeah, she was the drunk. She's a completely different character in Black Christmas. She was, I believe, was her only movie until this movie. And I'm not sure what Christopher Reeves did before Superman.
I don't think much.
He had to, so Gene Hackman had to come in here and really lead by example, and I think he did. And because of that, you get the performances that you get from Margot Kidder. You get the performance that you get from Christopher Reeve. So yeah, that's a great. I thought you were going to go Gene Hackman. That's why I went with Margot Kidder. But hey, I mean,
both are great.
Yeah, they're both fantastic.
But I do want to give a special nod to Christopher Reeve as Superman / Clark Kent. Perfect.
Absolutely. There is a reason that people still see him as their Superman. I 100% get it now. And I'll say I was worried because not worried, but I didn't take that argument into consideration because hot take alert. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Keaton as Batman. I don't really necessarily like the first.
Oh wow!
So we could probably talk about that. I don't necessarily.
That is a major disagree, brother.
That's what the show's for. So you're just like when people say Michael Keaton's their favorite Batman, I'm like, you're not thinking about the other ones. Your heart's sold on this one. This one I can completely see why people still have Christopher Reeve as their pinnacle Superman.
Oh yeah. All right, so if you're ready, we can move on to the next format.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that is favorite scenes. Now I said scenes, not scene, because I thought with this movie we could kind of do more than one scene.
Yeah, for sure. And since I went first on MVP character, I'll let you go first on favorite scenes.
All right, so I'm gonna start with one that I believe you were gonna pick. So if I steal it, I apologize.
No,
it is the whole scene with Lois Lane interviewing Superman. From the interview itself to the flying scene, which I still think is super powerful with her. And it's got one hilarious moment
Mhm.
He lets her go, thinking she's gonna fly, and all of a sudden she falls.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird, like, as
You weren't expecting it.
Christopher. I mean, Superman. What are you doing? Christopher. Yeah, that's what I call him. Christopher Reeves. Superman. What are you doing, man? Like, why are you just dropping her? She can't fly. She's human. But it's. I mean, you got that where he saves her again. Even though it's kind of
his fault.
it's his fault, but maybe that was his move. Maybe it was like
He's created his own scenario.
Exactly. Maybe you don't know. He might be. Hey, he snuck a look. I honestly didn't think he was gonna sneak a look whenever she told him to. With the
pink.
What color? Yeah,
Pink.
but he's not gonna do it. He's not. Yeah, and then he does it. I'm like, oh, you're not as innocent as you say you are. But
he's a guy.
He's
Come
not.
on.
He is. 100%.
I would do that if I had that power. I would do that if I had that power.
Yeah. So before I move on to my scene, I'll continue. I think a kind of underappreciated moment at the end of that scene is at the very end when Superman leaves and then he appears as Clark Kent at the door. I love that. Like that was like a nice little thing on it. And it to me, what I said right off the bat is, you can see right away he doesn't want her to love him because he's Superman. He wants her to actually care about him, and that's why he appears as Clark Kent. And I think that's probably in the end why he chooses not to tell her the truth.
Hey, Superman.
Yeah, I think, and I also, when she doesn't recognize him, it's kind of the first idea of, I guess, in his head that, hey, even if she's up close to me or I have my glasses off, if she thinks I'm Clark Kent, she thinks I'm Clark Kent. She won't even see Superman. So that kind of backs that point up, that argument up.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll go ahead and go with my scene. And I think I'm going to pick... Oh, man. I'm going to pick the scene where Superman appears to Lex. I think the first appearance, the first showdown between the two is fantastic. I think you see the Clark Kent facade is not there at all. He's standing up. He's fighting back, and you got to finally see Superman in a precarious situation, not being able to necessarily defend himself. And in the end of the scene, he's not the one doing the saving. He's actually the one who needs to be saved. So you can see him being vulnerable, and I enjoyed that part, that aspect of it too. So, would you have any thoughts on this scene?
I absolutely love that scene, and the one thing I love about it is it mixes a very intense moment with just a bit of comedy from Gene Hackman, where he's like, the lead case, and he's like, "Don't open it," and he opens it. He's like, "Told you." Yep.
Oh yeah. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, that's true. That's basically how he gets him. How he was able to put his plan together. The genius of Lex Luthor basically doing like reverse psychology in a way.
Yeah, he outwits Superman.
And it's because Superman hasn't dealt with anything like this. He doesn't even know kryptonite exists. So to find out, one, that there's something that could hurt him, and that he couldn't outwit this man, it shows how formidable Luthor's going to be to him. Mm-hmm. So I love that. That's why I love this scene so much. Yeah. All right, man. You want to get to the next thing? We're kind of flying through this, but bring up one more thing. The music.
John Williams' score is incredible.
Oh my god! Like, I felt like a kid watching this movie.
So did I, dude.
I felt like a little kid, and I wasn't even thought of in the 70s.
Me neither.
I wasn't even a thought. I was just, but I felt like transported back to as like a little kid watching this movie, and I love it, man. John Williams is the sound of a generation. It seems like he's just hit after hit after hit, just
It
constantly.
seems like in every generation he has a generation-inspiring score.
Without people who probably even realizing who that is. Like, oh, what's your favorite movie from music from a movie in the 90s? Jurassic Park. Guess who that was? Boom. The 2000s, the 2010s, like it's just insane. Even like the Harry Potter, the potheads, quote unquote. They got theirs with John Williams too, because
in the early 2000s.
Most people are surprised to find. Like even I was necessarily. I was pretty surprised when I found out. Oh shit, it's John. That's insane.
Dude, I mean, hell, in the 2010s, I think his score for Lincoln is fucking beautiful.
It is. It is. Absolutely. I mean, this man is a genius behind some strings, behind a choir. I mean, not choir, a orchestra. He just knows how to play exactly what you need in that moment.
Definitely.
And it's never overpowering. It's when it has to be subtle, it's extremely subtle. When it has to be big and bombastic, it's big and bombastic. And it never lasts too long. I just wanted to bring up before we head out and preview next week's or get into the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
Bring up that beautiful music.
One more thing I love about John Williams. None of his scores sound the same.
No.
They all are completely different music.
Yes. Think of Superman, then you jump to Indiana Jones. Sound completely different.
And then Star Wars is completely different. Jurassic Park is completely different. Lincoln is completely different from any of them. It's just
even and we even mentioned Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a completely different thing that he has, but the only commonality is it'll always just hit you right where it needs to hit you.
Yep.
All
right, so let's move on to the meat of the show. Overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated. Now the Rotten Tomatoes score for Superman the movie is 94%. So Alec, I will start with you. Overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated?
So overrated. So properly rated. I'm thinking in terms of, did I love this movie wholeheartedly? I did. Was it perfect? Damn near. So this week I'll say Superman the movie is properly rated. I think it's rated exactly where it needs to be. It's in my eyes become one of those, if you are a geek movie lover, if you love superhero movies, you need to watch this. Whether you've seen every single superhero movie or you're a comic book lover and you haven't seen any of them, you have to see this movie. It is a pivotal watch. And I'm saying this as someone who just watched this today.
Same.
Okay. And it's automatically jumped up to my list of, if someone says they're a movie lover, you gotta watch Superman the movie. Mark Yodi Riley, I am sorry that it took me this long to watch this film.
Sorry, Yodi. Yes,
I finally did, and I agree. This is a pivotal movie in super movies, and so I'll say it's properly rated. It's right where it needs to be.
I wholeheartedly agree. Perfectly rated. I would like it to be higher, but I can see why some critics may not like it. I completely love it. I agree with you. I think this is a movie for, especially if you're a geek player or just a geek movie fan, or if you're a comic book fan. I think it hits every mark it's supposed to hit. I think the characters are completely relatable. Even Superman, they somehow made Superman relatable in this movie, which I love. So yeah, to me, perfectly rated movie.
All right, man. I was thinking going over just because of the fact that ending, but because it's 94% and I love the movie so much, that'll be the 6% that I don't necessarily.
It's the balance, yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I said properly rated. But So this one went easy. This first week, we went easy. We went something that is widely beloved, and something that we both haven't watched. Next week, we're going to dig into what the whole premise of this movie is about. I mean, what this show is about, and that is how does Rotten Tomatoes come up with their ratings? Sometimes we're with them, sometimes we're against them, and this one is definitely
controversial.
Yeah, this one's definitely divisive. It's from widely known, infamous M. Night Shyamalan. It is the sequel to the trilogy in the the third film in the Unbreakable series, and that is Glass. January 14th, next Thursday. Glass, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Bruce Willis, James McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson, and
Sarah Paulson.
We have both seen this film, and we won't give anything away, but I think this will be a pretty good discussion between us two about this movie. So if you like Glass, if you don't like Glass, or if you haven't seen the movie at all, please watch it before you come in. What's up, Miles? Thank you. There's my friend Miles. I appreciate you.
How's it going, Miles? Thank you for joining us.
Better late than never is all I say. You know, he knew me in high school. I was always late. I still graduated. Miles, we just got done talking about Superman, and definitely go and watch it. It's on HBO Max, so if you have HBO Max, great. If you don't, I believe there's a 30-day trial, 30-day free trial, so you can watch it. Not only that, but you'll be able
not anymore. There is not a free trial anymore.
So yeah, we have already talked about Superman. So if you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. Download it. If you have it, great. If you don't, I believe you get a 30-day free trial, so you won't have to pay for it.
You don't. Not anymore.
You also get Wonder Woman 84, which just came out, so that'll be a cool little thing for you if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. We both enjoyed it. We properly rated it. It's rated 94%, and we gave it, we said it's properly rated right there. But yes, next week, Glass. If you've seen it, join us. If you haven't seen it, watch it this weekend, and join us next Thursday.
The new Batman trailer. What? Is there a new one? Miles with the breaking news.
Hey, maybe he knows we don't know. But
we'll talk about that one, sir.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wonder Woman for sure. But yeah, so if you have seen Glass, if you haven't seen Glass, watch it this weekend. It's January 14th.
Glass also on HBO Max, by the way.
Yes, it is also on HBO Max. If you haven't seen the other three movies in the film, the franchise, I also would suggest watching Unbreakable and Split. Those will also be on HBO Max.
Watch it in any order, but I think the better way would be Split, Glass, Unbreakable, or reverse the other two. Yes.
But, all right, yeah, that's actually how I did it too. I hadn't seen Unbreakable before I saw Split. Went back and watched Unbreakable. Watched this film, and yeah, we'll talk about it next week. But January 14th, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Sinister's movie night. Sorry about that, but yes, Sinister's movie night. Every week we will bring you a new film. We already have the next 3 planned out, and then we will put them, and we'll get the next list scheduled as we go along. Did you have something to say, Hunter?
I just wanted to ask if you wanted to tell them kind of the theme we were going with this month. Because considering this is January, and we were trying to talk about all January movies when I know Superman came out in December, but it had a wider release in January. So we are doing January release movies this month.
Absolutely. Yeah. As we go along, more and more like releases are going to be coming out, because I'm assuming more releases will be coming out soon. We also have the releases coming on HBO Max. We will kind of do it that way, but for this one, for the first 4 weeks, we did do all January releases, and that's what we're going for. I think the next slate of movies that we have coming up are y'all gonna love them. There's a mix between like widely beloved cult classics and different things like that. So please join us every week for Sinister's Movie Night, and we can talk more movies. If you are a trivia lover, Nerd Entertainment Network is not just a place that Sinister's Movie Night lives. It is also where my man Hunter has a movie league, a movie trivia league that I play in, that he plays in. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Hunter, before we head out, before we do the closing things?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Yes. So Nerd Entertainment Network is not just the place for Sinister's Movie Night, but the Movie Trivia Challenge and our new division, Nerdum, our Inner Geekdom division, which will be kicking off with you know what? Fuck it, with an 8-man tournament. I was supposed to be surprised. 8-man tournament. That will be happening in February, with matches being released. We will also have 4 movie matches. So we will now be having 2 matches a week. We will be doing Movie Mondays, Nerdum Saturdays. Hope you guys do enjoy it. They will be scheduled for a 5 Eastern, 4 Central start time. We'll be premiering the matches, so you can play along in the chat. Thanks, guys. All right, Sinister?
Yes, for sure, guys. I appreciate everyone who joins us live. JB3, Miles. I appreciate who's watching on the playback. Please join us next week for the film Glass. And I am Sinister. That is the Hitman Hunter Chambless. I will see you guys next week. Peace out.